Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing? We got Monday, October the 13th, 2025, the day after the Chicago Marathon. We covered it yesterday. I saw a lot of the other Chicago live streamers posting reruns of the marathon. That's great. Well covered. Ernie was covering it in Pilsen, and Nick Koiken was covering it downtown. Jody JTV was covering it downtown. It's great. We're covering it up here on the north side here. Jessica, how you doing there? Yeah, it looks like it's shaping up to be a beautiful morning. We'll try to catch that sunrise. Maybe we'll get to the bridge over North Avenue by 7 o'clock. It's supposed to be a 7:01. Sunrise is going to be close, but we'll get the skyline in the background. Here comes the bike here. Get across the street here. Hey, it's an early morning bike ride here. Look how nice it is. Just got the whole road to yourself. Grace, how you doing there? Krista, good morning there. Yeah, thanks for being up early here. Yeah, so if you missed it, there's that whole 2+ hour long rerun of the marathon there on YouTube. I see Ernie did the same thing. Chicago Nuggies, he's got like a 2+ hour long live stream. You can kind of get the experience of what it feels like, how long the race is, or how long it gets stretched out. You know, the elite runners are so far ahead from everybody else. It's amazing. But hey, look at the hey, there it is. Yeah, the guy that won it, the guy from Uganda there, he almost broke the world record. And it's amazing. Sam, how you doing there? Izzy, Frederick, yeah, good morning. How's everybody doing there? Yeah, look at that skyline. So we got a little cloud cover. We got, I guess we're in the 50s, upper 50s. The lake's keeping us a little warmer. That's why my dad said he's been getting colder at night, even though he lives further south of us in Indiana, because it gets colder overnight. But the lake kind of keeps us mild here into the fall. See, we're by the hey, there's like a dew on the ground. My feet are getting wet. But hey, we got all kinds of stuff going on today. There's the Columbus Day Parade is at noon. I saw Ernie is going to be there as well, and we covered it last year. It's like an old time parade, you know, when they used to have the parades downtown on State Street, kind of like from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's what we covered it last year. We saw Paul Anka last year. Last year, Paul Anka sang Frank Sinatra's My Way. He did a Chicago version. And of course, Paul Anka's not from Chicago, but it was nice. He was an honored guest there. And I was honored that his official website used my video there. And we had a nice spot there and there was this, like last year, the Columbus Day Parade was right after the marathon, so there was a lot of Italian, just like today. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Italian people from Italy, not Italian Americans, people from Italy that traveled to Chicago just to run in the marathon, that will be at the Columbus Day Parade, and they acknowledge them, and it shows you Italian heritage in Chicago. And I still celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. I think we could do both. I think we're a complex nation. We shouldn't exclude one over the other, and I understand how Italian Americans felt slighted, but you got to understand how the Indigenous people feel slighted as well here. So there's enough grievance to go around, and you're never going to have more grievance than the Indigenous people, which I respect. Those with the most grievance cast the first stone. Here's Schiller. Here's the Schiller statue here. We're bound here by the Lincoln Park Zoo. We got the Fall Fest going on. We saw some of it last week. We're heading to work here. We got 6:47. Go Bills! Yeah, I didn't even watch football yesterday. Did Detroit win? I know the Bears got the Commanders tonight. The Bears play in Washington, D.C. So, hey, go Bears. Blackhawks start their season. Hey, there's a pumpkin. So there's somebody lost their pumpkin, and that's where it ended up. Someone's rolling it down the street there. Yeah, our condolences. Diane Keaton passed away there. Annie Hall. Of course, she was in the Godfather movies, at least one. Oh, she was in all three of them, yeah. And many other movies, played opposite Jack Nicholson. And he was in Baby Boom, all these amazing movies. Father of the Bride, Diane Keaton. She goes back to Hair. Wasn't she in Hair, like the musical? I know she was in stuff in the 70s. She was huge, like not just Woody Allen movies. Woody Allen used her a lot in his movies. Manhattan. Of course, Annie Hall, it was almost like the character was based on her, and Woody Allen said the same thing. And she's played herself. Sandra, how you doing there? Yeah, she was one of her favorites. I miss, yeah. My mother really liked. And thanks everybody for your memories there, yeah. Tinley Park there, how you doing there, Mama Goo there? You drank liquor from the liquor store. I like that. I like that. You like your name there. Hey, Milwaukee there. Hey, you're still wearing your Bears hoodie in Milwaukee. Well, that's you're brave there. That's good. Yeah, I know the Brewers fans are celebrating. You know, we commend them. Hope they go all the way now there. See, that was the other thing that happened this weekend. The Cubs lost to the Milwaukee Brewers Saturday night. But hey, they did the best they could there. And that's why they got to play the games there. So here we're down, people waiting for the bus there. Here comes, yeah. You see probably the 156, probably the 156, 151, 156. The 134 and 143 will go express. Already they wouldn't come down this far. Maybe it smells like mulch over here. This is where they had the movie in the park there. Tanya, thanks for tuning in from Kansas City. How you doing there? Yeah, Kansas City. How'd the Chiefs do? Well, I guess. Oh, that's. Is that who played last night? I didn't even check my scores here. What a poor NFL fan I've become. Elena, how you doing there? Yeah, Sandra. Blue Moon. Yeah, Blue Moon beer. Dodgers, yeah, Dodgers are still in it. Couch, yeah. Sometimes they got couches laying on the street there, yeah. So hey, we got 10 minutes to catch the sunrise. I don't know if I'm gonna get over there in time. I should have walked straight towards the lake, but we'll still, if the sun is already peeping out, we'll get it coming over that bridge there. It'll still be a pretty dramatic view. Heading to work here on a Monday. But yeah, we've lost all kinds, not just Diane Keaton there. We lost Jane Goodall last week. And we lost Sister Jean, which to Chicagoans, at least, especially people associated with Loyola University there. Sister Jean was close to your heart there. So we've lost three amazing women there. Jane Goodall, of course, she's even this year she was at the Lincoln Park Zoo. I missed it. I didn't even realize she was here this year, giving her talks about chimpanzees, I'm sure, or maybe it was more than just that. Look at the sky. So the sky should be pretty dramatic here, so we'll try to get some nice views of the dramatic sky over the South Pond here as we head to work on October the 13th here, 2025. Feels pretty nice here. We probably got upper 50s. Wind still. Sure, it's a beautiful sunrise. Look at those clouds there. Yeah, we'll get the skyline here. You got the pink clouds with the sunrise. We'll head right. Maybe we'll catch the sunrise right at the Grant statue, and we might time it just right where we can watch the sunrise underneath the arches there. And actually, that might be where I want to catch it, because you can play with the sun under those arches there as it rises over Lake Michigan there. MBT, how you doing there? Hope you had a good weekend there. Sandra, yeah. Christine, Sam, yeah. Jane Goodall. So here, see, look at that. Look at this amazing view. Happy Monday morning here. We got the waterfalls, just a trickle. We'll head towards this skyline. Actually, if I head this way, let's head this way, because then we can head over the bridge and we can head right over towards that Grant statue. Catch that sunrise by the Grant statue. Let's do that. So here, there it is. Look at that pink sky there. Yeah. This is the way we want to go. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that beautiful reflection of the sky in the South Pond here. See, this is why we do it here, walking to work. You get the Ferris wheel. Look at that silhouette of the Ferris wheel. That's get the reflection there. So if you just joined, this is Chicago. This is the South Pond. This is Lincoln Park. This is Cafe Briar. This is near the Lincoln Park Zoo. I'm walking to work. And Lake Michigan's over there. We're going to try to catch the sunrise. So Chicago, Illinois. And we got October the 13th, Monday morning here, the day after the marathon. We live streamed the marathon there yesterday. There's a rerun there. We saw, yeah, they were dancing to the Backstreet Boys up there in Boys Town as the marathon went through, entertaining. The crowd really got into it at that point, and that was the 9 miles into it. And here, look at this amazing sky. It's like bright skies. You would get that software to create the crazy skies with the reflections. This is a Bryce Infinite Horizon sky for your 3D background images here. Yeah, I don't have the accent. What do you want me to talk like Mike Ditka? These, that, and those, the bears. Here, look at the, there's the skyline over South Pond here. There, we'll see the Sears Tower. We'll get the sunrise. We'll head right over to the Grant statue here. There's the Genie Gang Pavilion there. There's it. There's, you can see all the way to the Sears Tower there. There's the full skyline pretty much from the north side. And we're heading right towards there, so we're heading towards these skyscrapers. We got about an hour to get down there. I'll try to get down to my office by 8 o'clock there. Lake in Michigan's the general area we're going to. Hey, look how nice this looks there. Yeah, this is why I've been walking to work, riding a bike, taking a train for 26 years, pushing 27 here, and long before the age of live streaming. That's why when they do the zoo lights, we'll be able to walk through here, do the Michigan Avenue lights. We've been looking for Halloween decorations. This is what we do. And we talk about, every once in a while I talk about politics, so get prepared for that. And I know it hurts everybody's ears, and that's the last thing anybody wants to be talking about. Most people want to escape from it. I understand, but we have to talk about what's going on. If we encounter a squirrel, we'll mention it. Here, let's walk through the weeds here. So 6:57, I'm gonna get my pants wet. It's not really a heavy dew, just like a little bit of moisture, which is good. I guess it's been dry, so I guess it's good that the ground has some moisture, because we got some rain last week. Oh, they got the clouds, so this crazy clouds over the Michigan side. The Michigan mountains is what I call that. Some of the weather forecasters do the same, so we might still have some time to get to that bridge before the sun rises over the clouds there. The squirrels are out. We're all out. Thanks for being up early here. Heading to work here on a Monday. Yeah, go Bears there, Scott G. Yeah, be peaceful war zone, I know. See, the president just so desperately wants a excuse to use the Insurrection Act, so he's going to keep harassing communities until he gets an insurrection. But I actually, well, we'll get into this. There's people working out here. Let's see if we get the sunrise. Look at the, here's the Grant statue. Look how you can look through the bottom. And when the sun rays start popping out, sometimes you can see it right through the bottom there. Look at that. Here's the Grant statue here. Let's see, we're by the South Pond here. Lincoln Park, Chicago. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty dramatic sunrise once the sun gets over those clouds there. So let's head over to the North Avenue Bridge there and see if we can catch it. So look, people in the comments are going to keep taunting me until I lay into them into politics, you know. And I actually, there's a really interesting, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how this is all going to play out. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm sure you'll run across this. It's very interesting. And this could be psyops from a foreign enemy, or it could be just a fellow police officer giving advice to people that work for ICE. Why do ICE wear the mask? Because they're essentially contractors. They're mercenaries hired by the government to go out and use their own private vehicles and their own phones. And I don't even know if they're using their own weapons or if they're issued them from an armory. I have no idea. Fourth Amendment, your guarantee against unlawful search and seizures as U.S. citizens. This is, you know, we assume you're a U.S. citizen if you're not, you know, happy with ICE, that we can exercise our First Amendment rights to film them doing their operations, to use our First Amendment free speech rights to tell them we're not happy with what they're doing, and our Fourth Amendment right against unlawful search and seizures. And so if, like the WGN reporter, the woman who was harassed, forced to the ground by ICE, and they claimed that she was threatening a federal officer. Notice the they didn't press charges. They realized they don't have a good case. And I think my personal opinion, the reason the Supreme Court did this temporary thing in September saying that they could legally profile people, ICE can legally profile, would give them legal protection against being sued. Because if the administration ever changes, if there's ever an administration that won't protect the ICE agents like the Trump administration and the current Justice Department is, or if they themselves get investigated, the Department of Justice gets investigated, and they no longer protect the ICE agents that they hired, pay $50,000 bonuses, and they're all on their own, they hire their own lawyers, we as U.S. citizens can sue them for violating our Fourth Amendment if they harass, like the WGN woman that was harassed. And I think that's the reason the government's using them as private contractors, because they're not going to help them out. They're just going to leave them on their own, because that's what the government does. They just use people to do their catching, to enforce their policies. You know, similar things happen with bounty hunters during the, you know, Prohibition era. It puts into light, if you think about the war on drugs, essentially the war on drugs was state-sanctioned violence against certain communities, and it was for a good cause, you know, the war on drugs. But essentially, it was the war on drugs allowed to racially profile people as well, and the American public tolerated it because as long as they thought it wasn't going against their communities, they were okay with it, which shows what people tolerate in the 80s and 90s. Maybe we won't tolerate now, but people are tolerating ICE, so we're still right back where we started here. And I'm just expressing things I'm see how I'm not really like personally attacking anybody, or I'm talking about Jim Broadalities, you know, and you can personally attack me. It's not going to solve the problem. You can have a different opinion than mine. It's not going to solve the problem. The Bill of Rights is the Bill of Rights. And I'm just so depressed that so many people are so easily willing to forego their Bill of Rights protections, because you're going to need those some days. If the government, if you worry about a socialist government taking over, you don't think that can happen either. Here's the sunrise here. We're catching the sunrise over Lake Michigan, so we're going to go across this bridge and we'll see the beautiful Lake Michigan. Happy Monday, October the 13th, 2025. But it's interesting is the longer this goes, the more communities rise up, U.S. citizens rise up and reject the brown shirt, masked political police to enforce the policies of, even if they're elected justly or not, you still can't defy the Constitution if you won an election. And I kind of like the Constitution. It protects a lot of jerks like me. I know. So here we go. Let's cross the DuSable Lakeshore Drive. We'll head over to North Avenue Beach. We'll see the sunrise here. People jogging here. Look at this nice view. Yeah, traffic's moving fine here on a Monday morning. Hey, we got gentle waves here. Let's just be inspired by this nice signal from nature. The sun also rises here. We survived to live another day here. Let's make the most of it here. Yeah, Jamal, how you doing there? And they're all, Mr. Carter there, Christopher, yeah, Myrna, LTD, JW. Yeah, property taxes is pretty expensive. You know, it'd be a big city life here. Look at the sunrise there. Wow, look at that. That's a beautiful sunrise right over the hook there. There's the hook of North Avenue Beach. Hey, they're walking out there. We're checking it out. Yeah, we caught the sunrise here. Oh, more or less. I missed it by a few minutes. we catch it other days close enough there. There's your sunrise. October the 13th, 2025. Hey, they're taking pictures there. Oh, the lakefront jogging trail. Hey, somebody just ditched their divvy bike right there on the beach. Yeah, let's go check out the waves here. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just walking to work here, you know, just sharing the wealth here. So many years I would never walk by the lake. I would always walk in the city. Now I take the little extra time just to walk, catch the sunrise, especially this time of the year, because the time coincides with my walk to work. Where after, you know, the days are getting shorter and the weather's just so nice this time of year, in my opinion. Yeah, Naya Papaya's tuning in there. Tea Lime Tea Time. Tammy, how you doing there? Yeah. Isn't it amazing people invoke a politician's name even though I'm not even talking about him? You're obsessed. You just wake up thinking about a politician all day. You got politicians of them hanging in your bathroom there, and you got a screensaver on your phone there. You're wearing your hat. You feel power in your political clout there. You get to taunt other Americans and act like you're superior. You get to act like a liberal. Sounds like you're acting like a liberal there, but you're a Trump supporting egoist. And I can make fun of liberals too. I can make fun of myself, because liberals thought they had all the answers and they didn't. We didn't. We screwed up. We fumbled the ball. We made everybody feel stupid with our intellectual word games and ruined it. Fumbled the ball. So hey, I can take it. Here, look how the sand's kind of sculpture. It's kind of sculpting a little notch in the sand here. I like it. Here's gentle waves of Lake Michigan freshwater here. We're heading to work here. How's everybody doing? Man, it's beautiful. Jorge. Yeah, you're gonna lock us all up. You're gonna punish us. You're gonna taunt us torture us for the rest of our lives and rub it in and force everybody to shed MAGA tears, and you'll be dancing on our graves there, just loving it. You've won, but the game's not over. You know, but you're really going to have like elections with like masked men controlling the polling there, intimidating Americans going to the polling booth. I know that's what Steve Bannon wants. Steve Bannon would love that. And these people have paid the price. He has gone to jail. He's back for revenge. You know, there's people in Trump's cabinet that have served time just like a mob boss, and they're rewarded for their loyalty. There's the skyline of Chicago, North Avenue Beach. But I don't know what the people defending Trump are defending right now. They're defending masked men, intimidating communities, and they said this is what people voted for. But if it's wrong, it's wrong. I don't think everybody voted for that. Some people just wanted more money in their paychecks, and they're like, man, we didn't realize they were going to be doing this. I'm like, you got to take it seriously. We're down the slippery slope here. Hey, look at the castaways there. Look at that. But I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by Americans, not just my fellow Chicagoans all over the city. People on the north side, south side, and west side. Mainly it's affecting the west side and south side, but there is a few areas on the north side. That's where that WGN reporter was tackled by ICE, and thankfully somebody recorded that and got her name. And she's a producer. She's a news producer for WGN News. Potentially, a mother, or I don't know if she's a mother or grandmother or not. And just images of other Americans contracted by the government. We're allowed to yell at people that we don't know. They won't say who they are. We're allowed to heckle them. People always are like, show your face, and I understand why it's important now, I don't want to be associated with these people. And it depresses me that people that think they're good Americans enjoy what they're doing and use it as a taunt. They're like, we're gonna stick ice on you like it's their own personal Gestapo that they're using to enforce their political beliefs. That's very un-American. We have to tolerate opposing viewpoints. And I have to remember this when the left gets back in charge, because we will, and you won't like it. We've survived the first Trump administration. The second will cause more damage, but America's much bigger. And people, we take turns. And I'm not crazy about everything the Democratic Party does. There's a lot of things that I cringed about as well, but the Republican Party makes me cringe much more. It's not even a contest. And we're desperate for like a centrist party. We're desperate for another, something that's not corporate, not dominated by corporate money. And that's, even the Democratic Party is dominated by corporate money. If you don't think it is, why did they not let Bernie Sanders become the candidate? It's because the party knew it would they would have funding problems. A lot of corporations wouldn't want to fund a democratic socialist that wants to raise taxes on the richest corporations and put oversight. They don't want that, of course. Now they got a weakened government that's cutting entitlements. I think corporate America is very happy with what they paid for and bought with this election. That's my opinion. Here's the sunrise over Lake Michigan. Let's head to work here. And Yeah, look at the dunes here. Got the picnic table here. What time we got? 7:12. Had that sun in the background the whole morning there. Ernesto, thanks for tuning in there. Naya Papaya there. Thanks everybody there. Yeah. You're worried that your tax money's being wasted on poor people. What about it being wasted on like big corporate bailout and handouts that are pale in comparison? Yeah, there's government waste, but a few people getting food stamps is not it. We got agricultural surpluses. We got a bunch of soybeans now that we can't sell because of the tariffs. So you're just going to let those soybeans rot. You're not going to let it get to people that, you know, need food in this country. If America's so great, why do we need food assistance at all? You know, you're saying America's not as great. It's only great for the billionaires. Peter Thiel's really worried that we're going to get to his money. You know. Yeah, look at this. It looks like a set from a movie scene. I agree here. This is the view of the Chicago skyline from the south eddy here of North Avenue. See, that protects North Avenue beach sand from washing away. People are jogging here. People come out and greet the sunrise, do your Tai Chi, Feng Shui, yoga, walk the dog, jog, catch the sunrise there. What a great way to start your day. Thanks for tuning in here. Lake Michigan, Chicago, Illinois. We got like about 60 degrees. Feels pretty nice. I think it's going to get to 80 degrees. Columbus Day Parade is at noon. We're going to film the Columbus Day Parade. I think Ernesto Chicago Nuggies is going to film it too. So if you want to watch it on TikTok, check out Chicago Nuggies. If you want to watch it on YouTube, I'll be doing my usual lunchtime live stream. We covered it last year. Last year we saw Paul Anka. We saw Paul Anka at the Columbus Day Parade. It's a pretty good time. They bring out a bunch of Italian cars. There's a parade of Italian cars. That alone is worth it. A lot of nice floats. Last year they had some indigenous dancers from the Lakota Nation there. I don't know what that has to do with Chicago, but at least they made an attempt to include some indigenous people in the Columbus Day Parade. Nice gesture. And that's all we asked, just to try. Here's we'll head down to Oak Street Beach here. Don't feed the trolls. No, tea time. We have to confront this head on. We have to show people we're not afraid. We're not going to be intimidated. They control all they want, but it's pretty much pointless at this point. It's like they're exposing their own fear by doubling down on tired talking points that don't change anybody's minds, like a stupid campaign slogan that has the number 2028 that does nothing to change anybody's mind. They're doing it for their own self, to declare somehow that they're saved by drinking the Kool-Aid, I guess. I don't know. The need to make some public declaration and fealty to fascism. I don't understand what it is either. I've never, even though I lean to the left, I've never, and you could probably go back, did I ever go like Obama 2012? I mean, I don't think I ever got that excited about it. I was just like relieved that we had like a period of saner government. Whatever party, I miss the George W. Bush the days. You know, the nation building looks much better than compared to this. Let's do some foreign wars so that we're not attacking our own people in our own country. It's the joke now. The president helped end peace in the Mideast there. Well, congratulations. We got war in Chicago. Is it worth it? He needs a war somewhere. He needs an enemy from within. Always something else to point to. Some nameless faceless Antifa that can never really describe or define. It's just them. Whoever's protesting in the street, that's who it is. But here, look at the skyline of Chicago. Yeah, we'll head down to work here. People biking here. Hey, the ducks are out. Here's the water intake cribs here, Lake Michigan. Yeah. Hey, we're getting a lot of comments here. Jesse, how you doing there? First Amendment USA. Yeah, we still got the Ukraine-Russia war going on. Yeah, George Bush there. Yeah, I know. These ducks are gonna get me. I'm gonna get attacked by squirrels. Well, you know, we felt this way in Chicago for a long time. Yes, violence and crime did get really bad in 2020, and I remind people, who was president in 2020? It was Trump still. And yes, crime was bad in 2021, 2022. A lot of smash and grabs. People moved out of the city. And hey, I like the, hey, birthday dog, how you doing there? I like the hat there. Yeah, that's great. How you doing there? Nice dog here with the hat. But, you know, I've been living in Chicago for 26 years. Crime has always been bad. We always get taunted. You're like, how can you live in the city? Well, now it's even like, now we got ice on top of it. So what's the cause of the chaos? Like, okay, so the cause of the chaos in 2020 was George Floyd, civil unrest. The police kind of brought it upon themselves by how the optics. And then it was the people cooped up by COVID. 2020, people went nuts. Okay, so we had mass demonstrations, riots in the streets, smash and grabs, storefronts boarded up, people moving out of the city. That was when, who was president in 2020? I know there was a major pandemic, but it was Donald Trump. And they'll say, oh, it was horrible under Biden. It was bad under Biden, but it was also bad under Trump. That's all I'm saying as far as with the violence. So now that was the source of the chaos there, the pandemic and George Floyd. Civil rights. It was also the Black Lives Matter movement came to fruition. That was the culmination of it. Wokeness, whatever. Okay. So now we got the reaction to that. Donald Trump was reelected. Anti-immigration sentiment. We got mass people rounding up migrants, but they're also harassing U.S. citizens, communities to do it. They have to. That's why they desperately want to call in the National Guard to help them out, because they're going to be very hard for them to keep their quotas, get as many people out as they want to get out without the National Guard or some military, because the longer this goes on, the citizens in the U.S. citizens in the communities being affected by ICE will resent them, just like the British troops were resented by the 13 colonies. Yes, I am making this analogy. And just like the Philippines resented the U.S. Army occupying it after we took it over from the Spanish. The same thing. It led to bad stuff. And so, how can we not feel like the federal government's invading our communities? People from the outside driving foreign, out-of-state license plates, causing havoc, scaring mothers with their kids trying to walk to school. This is not good optics for the GOP. People are just trying to take their kids to school, and they're being scared and harassed by ICE, and they're U.S. citizens. And do you want parents to have to go defend schools from these weirdos showing up with masks? And they say, oh, you can trust us. Well, who are they? They won't even identify themselves. There's people impersonating themselves. And again, how can we be the standard bearer of freedom and human rights in the world when we don't even attempt to give the appearance of following our own Bill of Rights? I guess they assumed that all the citizens would just lay down and accept this, you know. And I'm proud of my fellow, people in Portland, Chicago, Washington, D.C., but even throughout the country, people that aren't being affected by this, they're shocked by the images, and they say, I told people it's gonna be chaos. It's not, and it's being driven by the government policy and the way they're enforcing it. Is there not a different way to do it? Is this the only way to do it? That's the question. Is there another way to do it? It seems like we're not even curious. Like, I think people like the fact that it is dehumanizing. And what scares me the most is you think this can only be used for the force one policy. It could easily be used to force a different policy. Now we're all worried if the courts are even going to protect us, our own courts. So hey, we'll go back to talking about the sunrise here. People walking here jogging on the lakefront bike path, Chicago, Illinois here. Heading to work. We got the Bears in the Monday night game tonight against the Washington Commanders there. I'm kind of, I'll root for the Bears, but I'm not going to spend money on their merchandise. I think they're wasting money on a new stadium that doesn't need to be built so the NFL can have a Super Bowl. But I know the Bears are pretty popular. I'm sure people in the suburbs are probably happy they don't have to come downtown. I don't blame them. Stay out of the city. You never have to come to the city. It's fine. We'll do a divorce. They're building a stadium for Schaumburg over Chicago. It's very nice. I know it's in Arlington Heights. But America's become more suburban. So it makes sense. Downtown's too expensive. Nobody likes the big cities anyway. But hey, lakefront bike path here. There's John Hancock. There's the sun. We're almost down to Oak Street Beach. Hey, thanks everybody for checking out the marathon. That was fun yesterday. I didn't really cut out any clips. I was doing work yesterday, doing laundry, going to the grocery store, running errands. Now it's a manic Monday here. We'll do the Columbus Day Parade. Columbus Day Parade's at noon there. I think State Street. That's where they had it last year. Last year we saw Paul Anka. We'll pull that up. That was in landscape. But it was nice seeing all the Italian cars, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I think they'll be lined up on Wacker. I think they actually drive them in the parade there. I just didn't stick around long enough because I had to go back to work. The parade lasts for a long time. They need to get started right away. I think it starts around noon. State Street. Ernie might start. There's jumping in the water. Jumping in the water on October the 13th, 2025. That water's got to be a little cool. We're about 60 degrees, but hey, somebody's swimming at Lake Michigan. Very nice there. It's a way to start your week. Yeah, 2023 was bad too. How you doing there? Yeah, swimming. So there's a bunch of seaweed that washed up on the shore here. There's my shadow. Yeah, we'll head in the evening. We'll start looking for Halloween decorations. We were doing it Friday. It'll get dark sooner and sooner. Show my face. Show your face. Show your face. Isn't this a beautiful mug here? Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. People think I'm nice. See, I understand. Like originally, like people thought I was like in the Witness Protection Agency, or it's funny because I got plenty of videos where I show my face. I used to have it pinned to the top. Now I guess I'm gonna have to pin it back to the top there. But no one checks out the reruns anyway. So no one, I would have like my face pinned to the top of my reruns, and people are like, "You never show your face." I'm like, "You never check out my reruns. It's right there at the top." Show your face. Show your face. Do some facial recognition, some biometrics, so they can put me in a database and say, "Hey, there's the bad guy. Here's what he looks like." There, look at the pigeons. Hey, the pigeons are out here with the seaweed here, greeting the sun here. Oak Street Beach. Show your face. Show your face. Yeah, third world concerns like football, yeah. In the whole scheme of things, football is a distraction. Yeah, I know. They wanted to, it's like masked men beating people up, rounding people up. Now watch this commercial for football. Distraction. There's Oak Street Beach, Chicago, Illinois there. What time we got? 7:27 in the AM here. Hey, look, here's a jellyfish. A jellyfish washed up. No, it's a plastic bag. Plastic bag. Look, you can look over to Navy Pier. Yeah. Does this look dangerous? No, the water's fine. Sometimes there's rip currents, but I know you're talking about the city. Our president says it's dangerous. Our president calls this a hellhole, and he built a tower here with his name on it, and he calls it a hellhole because he doesn't like our mayor or governor, just because they stand up to him. And I commend them because us as Americans, we're pretty stubborn and contrarian. We don't like other Americans acting like dictators and kings and calling to jail freely elected governors. We kind of like not forget about, even if you don't like J.B. Pritzker, you know, that's cheating. Here's Oak Street Beach. Here's Oak Street Beach. Look at the seaweed. We got some green seaweed. There's still some people swimming though. Okay, we'll head right over to the John Hancock. They're 875 North Michigan, but we'll head along the green seaweed here. We watched this sunrise a little bit this morning. It was already up by the time we came across that bridge. But here we'll head right towards Michigan Avenue. Hey, the dog's peeing there. Good morning there. Yeah, the color's amazing there. Chris, what do you say? There we got the sun there. Hope you had a good weekend there. We got the marathon there yesterday. Thanks to everybody who was part of that. And yeah, camping out on the beach here. Beautiful weather. Looks like we're gonna have nice weather this week. Chris, the Columbus Day parade's at noon today. So Ernie's gonna be covering it on TikTok. I'll be covering it on YouTube. I don't know who else is gonna be there. Remember, we covered it last year. We saw Paul Anka. I don't know who's gonna be there giving the master of ceremonies or celebrity guests. But it should be a fun time. I look forward to seeing all the Italian cars. And we'll see if there's any indigenous dancers or anything, or people marching in the parade. It's like an old time parade. It's like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off parade there. We'll be shaking a baby there on State Street instead of Dearborn. I'll jump on the float and do the Beatles song. Dankeschön, Dankeschön. How do you say that? Dankeschön, Dankeschön. That's what, yeah, I gotta say. Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. Yeah, Cam, how you doing there? Darwin. Yeah, see, people always like to taunt me. They're like, go. They know some, like, yeah, thanks for at least reading through your statistics. They know what areas they have the worst crime. They'll say, like, Inglewood, Garfield Park. They'll say, go to O Block. You know, and I do go to those areas. Hey, somebody ran the marathon there. See, he's got the medal there. That's somebody ran the marathon there. You're welcome to check out my 300 videos of the South and West Side. I especially recommend Pullman's with the labor strike. But H.H. Holmes had his post office there in Inglewood. That's another thing. That's just live streaming gold there. Anything to do with the serial killer there. Devil in the White City. Inglewood post office there is on the site where he had his mansion of horrors there. Serial killer there in Chicago. A lot of people died on that site. But we filmed Al Capone's house there, 73rd and Grand Crossing. Why haven't you seen the video? Why don't you check out my South and West Side content? You just sit there and taunt me. See, people, they're like, and that's back to my comment before. So, people are okay with ICE harassing the West and South Side because they feel like those communities deserve to be harassed. That's the same thing that happened during the drug war. People were okay with the militarization of the police during the drug war. It harassed and affected certain communities more than other. Americans tolerated that because it was a racist policy, just like ICE is a racist policy. We acknowledge it. Even people that like the policy, they acknowledge that the Supreme Court says that now ICE has the right to profile people if they speak Spanish or look a certain way. That goes against everything we've been fighting against since the civil rights in the 60s. And that's why some people are so excited about this, because it's a pushback against affirmative action, civil rights movement in the 60s, women's rights, trans rights, gay rights. This is the pushback, and ICE is the personification of that. And they'll say, oh, it's just to enforce immigration, but it's actually beyond that. It's to intimidate and promote a cultural narrative that you have to assimilate to whatever they deem is the dominant white Christian national culture that historically has been the center of American politics. And the movement in the 60s was a pushback, a reaction to that. And this is the pendulum swinging back the other way. And we know what's going on. So we got to keep up the fight and just bring awareness to it. You know, and even if the people against it are in the minority, doesn't mean they're wrong. We got the Bill of Rights and a bunch of constitutional lawyers that would beg to differ. Here's Oak Street, Lakeshore Drive. Thanks for tuning in here. So, I'm used to being taunted by people in the comments. They'll continue to taunt. I'm amazed that they take the time to watch. So maybe we can, one day we'll wear them down. They'll watch enough or they'll be like, we'll troll somebody else. And that's all we're asking. Live and let live. We'll find a way to tolerate each other. I'm not trying to change you, baby. Don't try to change me here. Just when you try to change me, that's when I start talking about politics, and no one wants to hear that. So there, we're across the street here, Oak Street, Michigan, Drake Hotel. We got to talk about something. It's like they gave me a free radio station here. TikTok gave me a free radio station. I said, no, I don't want it. You can keep it there, TikTok. Did anybody see the stories that this has to be just trolling? That supposedly Byron Trump is going to be on the board of directors for TikTok because they want a young voice on there. But no, you know, it's just convenient that it just happens to be the son of the president on the TikTok board. No nepotism there. Yeah, we're the United States of nepotism now. But that's what America wants. It wants a whole new royal dynasty there. We're jealous of the British and their tabloid monarchy there. Here's 900 North Michigan, Bloomingdale's. And you saw how that ended up for Diana, poor Diana. Yeah, I don't think it was worth the cost. But I appreciate everybody who tunes in from the UK, British Isles there, people tuning in from Ireland and France and Scandinavia, Netherlands, Germany, all over the place, Italy, Spain, people south of the border there, people tuning in South America, Central America, Africa, Asia. It's amazing we're all connected here. People from India, because a lot of people from India can't watch on TikTok, so we are here on YouTube. There's the 900 North Michigan there. Hey, Louis Vuitton. Speaking of France, I guess they had the Fashion Week. I missed the Chicago Fashion Week. And maybe that's why Kevin Smith was in town. I saw Kevin Smith, the actor, was in town there. There's the day after the marathon there. We'll probably see a lot of people that ran in the marathon at the Columbus Day Parade wearing their medals there. So the Bears filmed all over Chicago. The show there on Hulu there. The actual restaurant, the original Beef, is on Orleans there, the Mr. Beef, and I've got reruns of that. We walked down Orleans Street last week, and we go by there every once in a while. They usually keep the curtains up. One time we went by, they were filming there for the show, and they had the sign changed to the original Beef. We got reruns of that. I can send you a rerun there. There's the Fourth Presbyterian Church. We went in there earlier last week, I think. But here's the John Hancock here, 100-story stall. You go up to the 94th floor there, the tilt, the 360 observation deck's up there. Michigan Avenue. Thanks, Chris, for being on. Thanks, Ernie, and everybody there. Yeah, the Herbie Hancock, John Hancock, you got it. Bears, yeah, they're moving out. United States there. Yeah, the 4th Presbyterian there. Yeah, I got video on the inside there. I don't know what day it was last week. There's so much. I haven't even gotten to marathon clips. We got content coming out of her ears here. But it's good. It's a good problem to have then. No, taco jalapeno salsa. She was on yesterday. We're letting her sleep in there. She was on yesterday when I was covering the marathon. Taco jalapeno salsa was on for 2 hours yesterday, so she was there yesterday. I think she's doing fine. She's probably just taking a break this morning, which she deserves it. Everybody's got their own lives here. I'm on all the time. It's got to be. Usually when I say I'm taking a break, my mods are like, good. He's streaming too much. I'm streaming all the time. And then if I miss a day, bro, where you at? See, Nick Hoykin, he's missed like 3 days, and people are like, where'd he go? He's back. He's been live streaming. Just took a break. We'll be right back. No, here's the MCA's over here. Here's the Water Tower, Chicago. Yeah, Sister Jean, we're mourning the loss of Sister Jean. Loyola has their campus over here, the downtown campus near the Water Tower. And Sister Jean there, 106 years old, passed away last year. We missed Diane Keaton passed away. And we lost Jane Goodall. My grandmother would say deaths would come in threes, you know, and it's kind of eerie there how that works. Just seems that way. There's the Water Tower. Yeah, Chris Farley died on the, oh, that's good information, the 60th floor. So the John Hancock there, yeah, he used to live there, you're right. Our friend Danny, he was friends with him because he did security in that building, and probably when he lived there would see him going in and out of the building, you know. Of course, Chris Farley, Second City, Saturday Night Live. But he chose to live in Chicago even though he could have lived in New York. And I'm sure he had a place in New York too, because he was always there for Saturday Night Live. He had a place in New York and Chicago is what it is. Like some people do if you can afford it. Most people just skip Chicago, just stay in New York. Kudos to Chris Farley for laying down some roots right there. Yeah, Greg Mass. So here we'll cross Chicago Avenue here. So the Trump Tower's down this way. If you stay on for about 6 to 8 more blocks, we'll see it. It's down by the Wrigley Building. It's down by the Chicago River. This is the Park Hyatt there. George Lucas. This is the top. This is the Water Tower. We're at North Michigan Avenue here, so we're about 3/4 of a mile north of it. We're heading down that way. We got 741. So heading to work here on a Monday. Yeah, you're right. Probably in a month and a half, they'll have the holiday lights up here. They do the Light Up Michigan Avenue parade the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So that usually starts off the holiday season. They'll do the Kris Kringle Market. And if I can convince my dad to come up to Chicago, maybe we'll stick around and actually do the parade this year. I'm usually out of town, but we'll see what we do for Thanksgiving this year, how he feels. He's doing some doctor stuff, but here we're by Neiman Marcus here. We're Superior, Michigan Avenue here, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. Oh, Canadian Thanksgiving. That's right. Myrna, thanks for, yeah, how you doing? Canada has their Thanksgiving this month, end of October. Yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving comes first, and then we do our Thanksgiving in November. There, Tiffany Peninsula. Truck's making a left here. So here's Gino's East, Chicago style pizzas down Superior. There's a comedy club over there. There you go, Gino's East. Usually we pass Luminati's. Uno's Duades is down on Wabash. And hey, these mums are beautiful. I was noticing these mums earlier. Look how the beautiful fall color here, the orange and the burgundy, yellow. We'll just film the Planet Median here on Michigan Avenue. This used to be the Disney store. Now it's Sugar here. There's a Pace bus. Yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah, Chi-Town Fashion Week. Is anybody covering that? I wonder if, I guess there's got to be somebody covering that in some way. I don't know where it's at, the convention center. They have like runway shows. I don't know what's going on. Hey, mum's the word here. Look at, yeah, let's cross the street here. We'll check out the Harry Potter store here. There was a huge line on Saturday. I was down here because I had to pick up something in the office, but I didn't live stream. And there was a huge crowd waiting to get into Harry Potter. I think everybody in town for the marathon checked out the place there, or at least got a photo there. So here we'll head over here. Harry Potter here. We're at Huron, Michigan here. There we go. There we go. There's the Omni Hotel here. Get your butter beer. Harry Potter store, Chicago, Illinois. So there's one in London, there's one in New York, here's the one in Chicago. Harry Potter store, get your magic wand, get your Patronus stag there. Yeah, they got the weather displays. There, Hogwarts, leaving the window. Hey, look at the Shocks at Corning, nice fall displays here. Planet Median's here, Michigan Avenue. They're working on a store here, so maybe there'll be a new mango store right across from Nike Town there. Yeah, there's that big advertisement they got on the building there. We'll show it to you once we get across. This giant Starbucks. These are people that I'm sure ran the marathon here. They got the runner's high here the day after. Get across here. Giant Starbucks here, Michigan Avenue. There's that big advertisement there on the Nike Town there. There's the Burberry. Here's the Starbucks. Happy Thanksgiving there. Yeah, Grim Evil there. Canadian Thanksgiving. That's good. Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, it's such a dump. Why is the president always putting us down? I always say, how can we have great America? How can America be great if we don't have great cities? And I know a lot of people in MAGA world, they don't like the big cities, but it's part of America, you know. And I know you don't like her politics, but come on, you know, you don't like skyscraper downtowns and we got problems, we know, we're not perfect. We got mums. Yeah. We cover up all our problems with flowers. You say, wow, look, here we got little bears here. Look, I love Chicago, that cute little bear there, yeah. There you got the bean here. So you can get your nice little diamond encrusted pink Chicago thermos there. Look, ornamental cabbage and kale. Got like broccoli. The Bears. Yeah, the Bears play the Washington Commanders tonight, Monday night. We'll see what happens tonight. The Bears. We'll go by Mike Dick away there. There, we'll go by the Tribune and the Intercontinental Hotel. We're at Ohio Street in Michigan here. There's all the traffic coming off the Kennedy here. There, we got the light. So hey, about 60 degrees, not too bad. We got 7:48 in the AM here. Thanks for tuning in Monday morning there. Hey, cleaning the sidewalk. 540 mag mile. Happy Thanksgiving. There's Loyola, the Loyola Ramblers, Sister Jean. There's the Marriott Hotel. We got the Pop Mart here. And we'll get a nice view to the Medina Athletic Association, which is now the Intercontinental Hotel. Yeah, that's why I like walking on this side. You get both of these vintage skyscrapers, the Tribune, the Intercontinental Hotel here side by side, Chicago, Illinois. Michigan Avenue. We're across from the Nordstrom Mall here. Heading straight towards 333 Michigan there. Yeah, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Comes early in Canada, earlier than the United States. Hey, the McGraw-Hill building here. Now it's the Glen Hotel. There's that Intercontinental Hotel, the Medina Athletic Association. It's got a pool on the 17th floor there. There's the Tribune. Used to be the newspaper, now it's the luxury residence. Look at that relief there. We'll cross the Chicago River, we'll head to work. So lunchtime we'll do the Columbus Day Parade. It should be on State Street. And should be a good time. That's at noon. Ernie Chicago Nuggies said he's got it covered on TikTok. I'm sure there'll be other live streamers there. I'll be doing it on YouTube. If you missed the marathon there, you can watch 2 hours of marathon. Ernie's got a big marathon thing on YouTube. And I saw a lot of the other live streamers got clips from downtown. Ernie was on the southwest side, which you get that perspective, which is good. We went up to Broadway. There's the Tribune Realtor building here. There you can see the Aon 333 North Michigan there. It's kind of like the Streeterville skyline. You can go down to Billy Goat's there. Wow, look at all the yellow flowers here. Zappos. So I guess they're doing a marketing campaign here for Zappos here. So look at the beautiful yellow flowers here. Wow, very nice here. Zappos here. Big Z. Yeah, Plaza of the Americas here. Get your flowers, Zappos here. Go get your Lou Malnati's pizza. Yeah, we'll cross the street here. We'll get you a nice view here. So there's the Jewelers Building, Mather Tower. These vintage skyscrapers across the Michigan Avenue here. And here's the building here. Just made it. Here's where we're at. Chicago, Illinois, Wrigley Building. Loop of Chicago's across the river there. There's the Apple Store. We saw Friday night, we saw the Apple Store north in Clybourne. This is the one by the river here. This used to be the Equitable Building. Now it's the 401 North Michigan. And there's the Trump Tower. There's the Trump Tower behind the Wrigley Building. You can see it there. Second tallest building in Chicago. And there, we'll head right over here. We'll cross the bridge here. We'll go by Jean-Baptiste Point de Sable statue. There's the gang, St. Regis, Aeon. So this is pretty much the same height as the Aeon. There's a seagull, but it has a 100-foot spire, which adds 100 feet to the technical height. St. Regis, Aeon, and the Trump are all about 1,100, but the Trump's technically 1,200 because of that spire. There's Jean-Baptiste Point de Sable. Joliet Marquette, the Native Americans that guided them, the portage to the Mississippi River. The French realized this would be a strategic spot, and they lost it to the British and then the Americans. And a big city was founded here called Stinky Onion, Chicago, Illinois. And this river used to dry up in the summertime and made it a canal there, so ocean-going lakers could go and connect to the Mississippi here, dug a canal, reversed the river. Hey, they're taking pictures. There are people that ran the marathon there. Yeah, getting a nice photo here. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, yeah, she's got her medal there. Very nice. Yeah, ran the marathon there. Yeah, see, taking a picture. Ran the Chicago Marathon there. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Ran the marathon here. They were like, who's this guy taking our pictures of us taking a picture of ourselves? I'm just proud that they ran the marathon. Both of them had the medal on there. You'll see a lot of people walking around the loop. If you go to the Bean later today, I don't know if we're going to have time because I'm going to do the Columbus Day Parade. We should get a bridge lift this week. Wednesday, I'll try to catch the bridge lift. We've been missing it because there's so much stuff going on. And of course, next weekend, October the 18th, the No Kings protest, and there's supposed to be a parade downtown too for Halloween. So, you know, I'm sure you'll hear more about that stuff coming up here. But here's, there's a nice view you get to the Wrigley, the Tribune here, Sable, Michigan Bridge, Chicago River here. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Chicago's beautiful in every season. It's nice to see the changing of the seasons. We're going to get the changing of the fall colors with the trees. We got Halloween. We'll still be looking for Halloween decorations. We got the Halloween parades coming up. There's supposed to be one this Saturday, the 18th downtown. There's supposed to be a big Halloween parade on State Street. And then, of course, there'll be one in Boys Town, the actual day of Halloween there, the costume contest. October the 18th in Grant Park, there's going to be a First Amendment free speech protest against the Trump administration, No Kings, and it'll probably be as large as the one we saw, if not larger, and then building to the one on November the 5th there in Washington, D.C. And you could contact refusefascism.org for more information about that. No Kings, their organization, the Resist the Trump Agenda organization there that organized the protest there. And I realize your political opinions might be different than mine. I'm just, this is my channel, and I you know, as much as I talk about, I just want to be a content creator. It's impossible in this day and age. You got to stand for something, or you fall for anything. And I'm just trying to support my local community. I was incensed about what happened to Ernie there, and if it happened to Ernie, it can happen to other people that we know, and we got to support our friends and neighbors here, communities be affected. This is just, I just can't believe that this is going on, and so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the Columbus Day Parade goes today. Looking forward to it. We saw Paul Anka last year. This should be a fun time nonetheless. Just you know, just to walk over in the loop and watch a parade there on State Street. You know how much I like cultural parades, and so this will be fine. And here at Michigan Avenue, we'll head to work. I'll get some work done, and we'll run through the week here. But hey, thanks for checking out the marathon. That was fun yesterday, and we'll film the Columbus Day Parade at lunch, and then Wednesday we'll hopefully get a bridge lift in there, Chicago River. Here's the Carbide Carbon building. There it is, 757. There's Citizen M. There's the Wrigley building there. Oh, now it's clouding up, so it was sunny. But here we'll cross here, Water Street. That connects to Wacker Drive. Hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks for being on. Thanks all the mods here. And hope you have a good rest of your Monday. We'll see you at lunch there at the Columbus Day Parade. Ernie will be streaming on TikTok. I'll be streaming on YouTube, so you got your choice there. And we'll see who the big famous dignitary is today. It could be anybody. Yeah, thanks everybody. Christina, Terry, Robert, Myrna, thanks. The Chosen One, Kelly Quinn, thanks for being on there. Grim Evil, thanks for being on. Have a good day there. Appreciate it. And Greg Lyons, they play like crap. the Lions. Okay, good. Well, we'll see you at lunchtime. We'll do the Columbus Day Parade. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Yeah. Hazel Johnson, there she is.